Multi-million-dollar scheme to defraud the feds. A man accused of using money meant for small businesses to buy this mansion in Central Florida, along with other luxury items. He got away with it for a while, but now he's been indicted.
What does $7.2 million in Paycheck Protection Program loans get you? Well, apparently, not employed and paid employees as it's intended, but it can get you a $3.5 million mansion, Maserati, Mercedes-Benz, and a Lincoln Navigator. At least that's what alleged by the U.S. District Attorney's Office in Central Florida. According to the indictment, in or about May 2020, Don Cisternino fraudulently secured more than $7.2 million in emergency funds through an approved PPP loan application. Cisternino's PPP loan application falsely claimed that Cisternino's New York business, Magnifico, had 441 employees and monthly payroll expenses in 2019 of more than $2.8 million. In truth, Magnifico had few, if any, employees other than Cisternino and his girlfriend, and Magnifico did not report any wages to the IRS for 2019. In support of his PPP loan application, Cisternino submitted false W-2s for Magnifico's purported employees, many of which listed the names and social security numbers of actual persons who were not Magnifico employees and who had not authorized Cisternino to use their identities. Once Cisternino obtained the emergency loan of $7.2 million, he did not use these funds for qualifying expenses. Instead, he spent the funds for unauthorized purposes and for his own personal enrichment, including the purchase of Lincoln Navigator, Maserati, and Mercedes-Benz vehicles, and an approximately 12,579 square feet residence in Seminole County. Now remember, an indictment is merely a formal charge that a defendant has committed one or more violations of criminal law, and every defendant is presumed innocent unless, and until, proven guilty. Now let's get into the ill-gotten gains of this alleged scheme. I've highlighted a few transactions listed on the indictment and complaint for forfeiture that I found interesting. On or about May 27, 2020, the PPP loan application was approved, and the funds were wired to Magnifico's Radius bank account ending in 7809. It's alleged that Cisternino wasted little time before going on a shopping spree. From the Radius bank account ending in 7809. Check 1, dated May 30, 2020. For $89,413.71 was made payable to a Lincoln car dealership with Don Cisternino Lincoln Navigator in the memo line. Check 5, dated June 9, 2020, for $1,440,000 made payable to Victor A. Cisternino with repayment of loan in the memo line middle dot. Victor appears to be a man in his 70s, so this is possibly Don's father or other relative. Let's continue. Check 8, dated June 22, 2020. For $251,436.21 made payable to Mercedes-Benz of Sarasota. Check 9, dated June 25, 2020, for $48,477.26 made payable to Chase Auto Finance with Maserati payoff in the memo line. Check 10, dated June 28, 2020, for $7,122.31 made payable to ABBA Fund with Lori and Kwaski final payment in the memo line. According to the complaint for forfeiture, a limited amount of funds were spent on what appear to be possible business purposes middle dot, including a check made payable to Colin Broderick Supermoon Productions for $327,692.30, an international wire to MKI Studios Limited for $75,000, and debit purchases at Toptal.com totaling $21,117.80. Colin Broderick is the director and writer of the 2020 indie film A Bend in the River. According to TV Guide, Don Cisternino is listed as an executive producer on the film. More than $400,000 spent on a movie. Nice. The complaint for forfeiture continues. On or about June 29, 2020, Cisternino wired $200,000 of the PPP fraud proceeds in the Radius bank account ending in 7809 to Premier Title Insurance Company, LLC, notating a deposit for the property in the description detail of the wire transfer. On or about July 6, 2020, Cisternino wired $3,104,000 of the PPP fraud proceeds in the Radius bank account ending in 7809 to Premier Title Insurance Company, LLC, notating balance of purchase price for 3018 Kingfisher PT for Don Cisternino, CEO Magnifico Incorporated. Public records indicate that on or about July 7, 2020, Cisternino and Kwaski purchased the property for $3,499,000, and no mortgage was filed against the property. Now let's take a look at the house. The more than 12,000 square foot house sits on more than 12 acres. It has a movie theater, pool, a 5-stall horse barn, tennis court and a 2-bedroom guest house on the property. All of this was purchased for the low price of $3,499,000. In good news for U.S. taxpayers, the house was seized, put up for auction and sold in 2022 for a winning bid of $4,115,000. It looks like the U.S. taxpayers may have earned a profit. Congratulations to you. It's going to be hard for the defendant to explain how and why he made all of these extravagant purchases and wire transfers to other individuals while allegedly not making payments to the 441 employees who supposedly worked for his company. This fact probably explains why Cisternino wasn't arrested in Florida. In fact, he wasn't arrested in the United States. Cisternino was apparently on the run and was arrested on an international arrest warrant in Croatia after entering the country at a Slovenia and Croatian border crossing in April of 2021. Croatian news outlet Total Croatian News quoted Cisternino saying, "I was afraid that the new administration under President Joe Biden would prosecute me for this kind of business, even though it was allowed during the Trump administration. That is why I decided to flee to Europe after the election in the US and seek asylum in Russia or some other country. And that's how I came to Croatia, where I wanted to seek political asylum." Cisternino's efforts to flee the long arm of the US government didn't end there. Cisternino has an Irish passport, and as a dual US/Irish citizen he attempted to use that to his leverage. In January 2022, the Irish Mirror reported Cisternino was seeking political asylum in Ireland, and they saw a document that quoted Cisternino as saying, "If I am returned to the US, I will only be sentenced immediately for up to 35 years in prison, which is essentially the rest of my life for a crime I did not commit. This is a violation of my humanitarian rights as an Irish citizen, and I know Ireland would not let that happen." Cisternino's efforts to fight his extradition ultimately failed and he was extradited to the United States. Cisternino arrived in Orlando and had his initial appearance on the charges on April 29, 2022, following which he was ordered detained pending trial. I'll keep an eye out for the results of this trial and update you as when it's reached its conclusion. Please like, subscribe and share any suggestions for future videos in the comments below, and I'll see you on the next one.